Hey gang, and welcome back. These videos are brought to you by Card Conduit, the best place to sell your unused collection fast and easily. 401 Games, Canada's top shop for all your hobby and TCG needs. Dragon Shield, the strongest sleeves for your strongest decks. Moxfield, the easiest way to store and share your deck lists. And Foil Armor, flatten your foils fast. Max wins the die roll and starts us off. He draws, playing a tapped Sundown Pass. Kuzno plays and cracks an Evolving Wilds to find a basic. Metch's turn has him drawing and playing out a tapped Temple Garden. Arja drops a Jungle Hollow, which comes in tapped and gains him 1 life. Max's turn has him playing Luxury Suite, and he taps double red for Grenzo Havoc Raiser. Kuzno plays Maestro's Theater, sacrificing it and gaining 1 life, and goes to find a swamp. Metcha just plays a forest, and then ramps, casting Nature's Lore. Arja plays a Bloodstained Mire, cracking it and losing 1. He finds an overgrown tomb, taking 2 more, and this allows him to cast a Skullbriar. It has haste, so he hits Metcha for 1 and adds a counter to him and passes. Max's turn has him playing Graven Cairns and swinging Grenzo at Kuzno. The Goblin connects, exiling Kuzno's top card. Max decides not to cast the Return to Dust, mainly because he can't, and instead in his second main phase, brings out Firelord Zuko. Kuzno's got an Arch of Orazca, and then taps out for Teysa, Opulent Oligarch. Matt's got a forest, and he casts Warp Cost for Landing Zone. He then pays 3 for Dyadrine, putting 1 into the X. This interaction has Dyadrine entering with 6 +1/+ encounters instead of 3 thanks to Loading Zone, and Metchu moves to his end step, exiling Loading Zone, which he can then cast later on. Arch's got a Dark Moss Bridge which comes in tapped, and clears the way with an Accursed Marauder, having the table sacrifice a creature. He then hits Kuzno with Skullbriar, and adds another +1/+ counter to it. Max plays out a Battlefield Forge, and then taps out for Knuckles. He goes at Arja with Knuckles, and Zuko heads at Mathieu. The creatures connect, with Max making 3 treasures. Max then casts a Tavern Brawler, and passes. Kuz has got a Swamp, and casts Commander Sphere. He follows up by casting Fell to take out Knuckles, and passes. Metchu just draws, and casts Karametra. Arja's got a Stitcher Supplier in his main phase, milling 3 as it comes in, and he's sad to see Necropotence hitting the graveyard. He then plays a tapped Slippery Karst, and then pays 2 for an Oversold Cemetery. Going to combat, Skullbriar hits Max, and Arja gets to add another counter to Skullbriar as it connects. Max exiles the Legend of Roku on his upkeep to the Tavern Brawler, pumping Zuko by +4/+0. He then draws for turn, and plays a Mountain, and then casts the Legend of Roku. As he enters the first chapter, he exiles his top 3. Because it's entering from exile, Zuko also puts a +1/+ counter onto all of Max's creatures. Max then plays out Pillar Verge Pathway from exile, giving Zuko and the team another counter. Going to combat, he swings Zuko at Mathieu, who just takes the hit, and Max passes. Kuz's main phase has him casting Thorough Investigation, and then Harker's Journal, aka Investigator's Journal. He targets Arja so it comes in with 2 counters, and with nothing else, passes. Matt draws and casts Dyadrine again, putting all of his mana into it. On cast, he gets to find a basic from Karametra's trigger, and Dyadrine then enters with 3 +1/+ counters onto it. Arja's got a Swamp, and swings Skullbriar at Kuzno for 4. It connects, getting another counter, and in his second main phase, Arja casts the Death half of Life and Death to bring back the Accursed Marauder. The table sacrifices a creature, which has Arja losing the Supplier and milling another 3. He then follows up by casting Call of the Death Dweller, bringing back the Supplier and Sidisi, Region of the Mire. He puts the Menace and Lifelink counters on the Supplier, milling 3 more as it enters. Max draws for turn, and uptakes the Legend of Roku, making a mana. He plays a Mountain, and then casts Zuko, Exiled Prince. Once he's out, he then casts Delayed Blast Fireball, which, because it's cast from exile, deals 5 instead of 3. With the Supplier hitting the graveyard again, Arja mills another 3, and Max passes turn. Kuzno casts Camball, Profiteering Mare in his main phase, and then a Dreg Recycler. He ships it after that. Metchu's turn has him casting Ouroboros, Standard All-Star, and he gets to find a basic thanks to Karametra on cast. He then plays out a Dust Shell Crawler, giving the Ouroboros a counter as it enters. Going to combat, Metchu's Ouroboros triggers, adding 2 +1/+ counters to his whole team. Arja returns to hand his supplier thanks to the oversold cemetery trigger on his upkeep, and draws. He plays an Ash Barrens, and then casts Agadine's Awakening, putting 2 into the X. This brings back the Deathrite Shaman, and Skullbriar, who's kept its +1/+1 counters thanks to its ability. Going to combat, Skullbriar then goes at Max, who connects, and with it connecting, Arja adds another +1/+1 counter to his commander. Max draws, adding the final counter to the Legend of Roku, and transforms it into Avatar Roku. He then casts Soul Ring, and he goes at Arja with Zuko, getting 3 mana from Firebending. He uses that mana, plus taps more mana to activate Avatar Roku, and makes a dragon token. Arja then takes the hit, and Max passes. Kuz draws but isn't happy with it, and activates his journal, removing a counter to draw again. He plays a tapped Shine Shadow Snarl, and then swings Combo at Arja. On attack, this makes Kuzno a clue token, which, as it enters, drains his opponents for 1 and he gains 1. He passes after it connects. Matt has a Plains for turn and casts Privileged Position. With that on the stack, Kuzno casts Dispatch, which has Metalcraft active, to exile the Oboroid. The creature is exiled, and the enchantment then resolves. Matt then moves to cast Shalai, and going to combat, he swings the now active Karametra at Arja, who takes the hit. Arja's upkeep has him returning to the surprise of no one, the Accursed Marauder, and he draws for turn. He then plays the Stitcher Supplier, milling another 3, and he swings the Skullbriar at Kuzno, who takes the hit, and Arja adds another counter to him. Arja's second main phase then has the Accursed Marauder coming back again, and everyone sacrifices a creature, but Max mistakenly sacrifices a token, but we do catch that shortly. Max's main phase has him recasting Firelord Zuko, and he swings the other Zuko at Kuzno and Roku at Matt. We catch the flub here, and swap Zuko for a dragon token. Matt then uses the Firebending mana to help activate Avatar Roku, making another dragon token, which has Kuzno getting 1 as well thanks to Comball. This also drains his opponents for 1 as it comes in, and Kuzno then takes the 4 in the air, while Matt blocks with Shalai, who gets taken out. Max then passes, and during the end step, Kuzno cracks a clue token to draw, plus gets to enter into the Lost Mine of Phandelver, gaining 1 thanks to Thorough Investigation. Kuzno brings back out Teysa in his main phase from Command Zone, and he goes to combat. He swings Combo at Arja, making a clue token, which drains his opponents for 1 as it enters. Arja blocks with the Supplier, and as it hits the graveyard, mills 3 more again. Kuzno's second main phase then has him casting Skull Clamp, and going to his end step, has Teysa trigger. This has him making 3 clue tokens from her, which has Combo draining his opponents for 1 each 3 times. Metcha is tired of not having any creatures while everyone else does, and he puts to stack a Sunfall. Arja responds to this by eating Shalai with the Deathrite Shaman to gain some life, and Max nopes his creatures out with Lazelle's Acrobatics. The board is then wiped with Metcha getting an Incubate 7 token, and he follows up by casting Managorger Hydra. He then passes, and during his end step, Zuko returns, and so does the Legend of Roku. This is Max exiling his top 3. Arja's upkeep has him returning the Marauder again and drawing for turn. He then replays the Marauder, and the board is mostly wiped. He then brings back out Skullbriar, and with the way clear, smacks Max, adds a counter to his commander, and passes. Max draws and upticks his Saga, gaining a mana in his main phase. He then casts Firelord Zuko again, and plays from exile Prosper. This gets a Zuko trigger, and he gives himself a +1/+1 counter. Max then plays a land from exile as his land for turn, adding counters onto both Zuko and Prosper this time, plus makes a treasure token. Max then casts Ephemerate on Prosper, giving Zuko a 3rd counter, makes a treasure, and then blinks Prosper. Max then passes, exiling his top card to Prosper during the end step. Kuzno draws, and draws again as he removes the last counter from his journal in his main phase. He casts Burnished Heart, and then equips the Skull Clamp onto it. He passes, and during the end step, Matcha transforms his Incubate token. Matt's main phase has him casting Kutzel, and he shortcuts so he can recast Dyadrine, getting to go and find 2 basics at the same time. He then swings the Phyrexian Horror at Arja, and on attack removes a counter from it and Dyadrine to Dyadine's trigger. This is Matt drawing a card and making a robot token. Arja then takes the hit for 6, and Kutzel lets Mathieu draw another card. Matt's second main phase has Sunpetal Grove as his land for turn, and he passes. Arja brings back the Marauder again, and draws. He plays the Marauder once more, and the table sacrifices a creature. Arja then casts an Abrupt Decay, taking out Firelord Zuko. which clears the way for Skullbriar to take out Max. He then places Boseiju, who endures as his land drop, and passes. Kuzno considers casting Teysa again, but at 7 mana, prefers to bring out Thales instead. He ships it after that. Matt untaps and draws. He casts the Loading Zone from exile, and then pays 8 for Dyadrine, which has him coming in with 16 +1/+1 counters. He also gets to go and find a basic because of Karametra seeing him cast it, and he then swings all out at Arja, removing 2 counters from among his creatures, thanks to Dyadrine's trigger. This makes him another robot, and draws him a card. Arja gets taken out, and Mathieu gets to draw a card from Kutzel. Mathieu then passes, and during the end step, Kuzno sacrifices the Journal to draw, and then sacrifices his Commander Sphere to draw again. Kuzno's turn has him casting Kaya Intangible Slayer, and he downticks the Walker to exile Mathieu's privileged position, and makes his own copy of it that's also a 1/1 spirit. He then moves the Clamp onto Thales, and he passes. During his end step, he gets to make another spirit token thanks to Thales, and we move to Mathieu's turn. Matt's main phase has him casting Ride the Shupif, and he then plays an Evolution Witness. Casting a creature triggers Karametra to find him a basic, which in turn triggers the Ride, and Mathieu gets to put 2 +1/+1 counters onto the active Karametra. The Witness then enters, and Mathieu activates it to adapt it. This has him putting 4 counters onto itself thanks to Loading Zone, and he returns Dustshell Crawler to hand. Matt then casts it, finding another land with Karametra. With the land entering, he gets to put 2 +1/+1 counters onto Kutzel, and the Crawler then enters and puts 2 counters on a robot token. Mathieu then plays out Nissa, Voice of Resurgence, and immediately downticks her, getting to put 2 +1/+1 counters onto his whole board, which, because of the Crawler being out now, means his whole board has trample. He then swings out at Mathieu and wins the game. Game review time. My goodness, did I say Accursed Marauder so many times this game. It's definitely interesting to see how players specifically like certain cards, and it's cool that they become more signature for them. Cards I was particularly impressed with were his Avatar Roku, as his on-attack trigger was super powerful, getting all that mana to help make dragons, and Karametra. Basically, it allowed Mathieu to keep casting his commander over and over again since he was finding lands on every creature cast, and it really helped with the commander tax. This video wouldn't be possible without the help from my sponsors, but it definitely wouldn't be possible without the help from you, the viewers, and my patrons. So I just want to say thank you for watching, and to remember, friends are just opponents you haven't eliminated yet.